Welcome to Horror Midnight Thrills. Thank you for stopping by to watch our spine-chilling, heart-pounding, scary videos. Your support means the world to us. If you love thrilling tales and terrifying mysteries, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon. Nestled in the heart of Virginia, the small town of Harper's Grove had always been surrounded by mystery. It was said that an ancient curse lingered in the nearby forest, known to the locals as the Cursed Forest. The legend spoke of a witch who had been banished from the town centuries ago for practicing black magic. Her anger and vengeance were said to have tainted the forest, causing anyone who ventured too deep to never return. Claire, a university student majoring in folklore, decided to investigate the legend for her thesis. She was fascinated by the tales of witchcraft and curses and wanted to uncover the truth behind the mysterious disappearances. Armed with her notebook, camera, and a sense of adventure, Claire set out for Harper's Grove. Upon arriving in the town, Claire noticed the uneasy glances from the villagers. They were wary of outsiders, especially those who showed an interest in the cursed forest. She approached an elderly man named Mr. Thompson, who reluctantly agreed to share what he knew about the legend. The witch's name was Eliza Blackwood, Mr. Thompson began, his voice trembling. She was a powerful sorceress who was wronged by the townsfolk. They accused her of practicing dark magic and banished her from Harper's Grove. In her anger, she cursed the forest, vowing that anyone who entered would be lost forever. Determined to find the truth, Claire decided to venture into the forest the next morning. As she entered the dense woods, an unsettling silence enveloped her. The air felt heavy, and the trees seemed to whisper secrets of the past. Claire pressed on, her curiosity driving her deeper into the heart of the forest. Hours passed, and Claire stumbled upon an ancient, crumbling stone cottage. The air around it seemed colder, and a sense of dread washed over her. She cautiously approached the cottage, her heart pounding in her chest. As she stepped inside, she found herself in a room filled with old books, strange symbols, and an overwhelming sense of malevolence. Suddenly, the door slammed shut behind her, and the room was plunged into darkness. Claire's flashlight flickered, casting eerie shadows on the walls. She could hear faint whispers, as if the very walls were alive with the voices of the past. Panic set in as she realized she was not alone. From the shadows, a figure emerged, a ghostly apparition of Eliza Blackwood herself. Her eyes burned with anger and sorrow as she glided toward Claire. "You dare enter my domain?" Eliza's voice echoed through the room. "You seek the truth, but it will cost you dearly." Claire tried to back away, but her feet felt rooted to the ground. Eliza raised her hand, and Claire felt an intense pain sear through her body. She fell to the floor, gasping for breath. The witch's curse was taking hold, and Claire knew she had to act quickly. In a desperate attempt to break the curse, Claire reached for one of the old books on the shelf. Her fingers trembled as she found a passage that spoke of a ritual to banish dark spirits. She recited the incantation, her voice growing stronger with each word. The room filled with a blinding light, and Eliza's anguished scream echoed through the forest. When the light faded, Claire found herself alone in the cottage. The oppressive darkness had lifted, and a sense of calm washed over her. She knew she had broken the curse and freed the forest from Eliza's wrath. Exhausted and shaken, Claire made her way back to Harper's Grove. The villagers were astounded by her bravery and welcomed her as a hero. Claire's story of the cursed forest became a legend in its own right, a tale of courage and determination in the face of darkness. And though the shadows of the past still lingered, Harper's Grove could finally begin to heal. Claire's thesis, The Cursed Forest, became a sensation. But she knew that some secrets were better left buried, and she never returned to Harper's Grove. The town, now free from the witch's curse, continued to thrive, its people always vigilant, always remembering the price of curiosity. In the bustling city of Essex, An old, decrepit townhouse stood on the corner of King Street. The house had been in the heart of the city for as long as anyone could remember, its once grand facade now worn and neglected. This townhouse was known as the Graves residence, home to the infamous Graves family. The Graves were believed to have practiced black magic, their dark secrets hidden behind the walls of the old house. The last remaining members of the Graves family, Reginald, his wife Margaret, and their young daughter Abigail, lived in isolation, their presence a ghostly reminder of the family's dark history. One stormy night, a tragic accident took their lives, and the house was left abandoned, its secrets waiting to be uncovered. Years passed, and the townhouse was eventually sold to a new family, the Bennets. Jonathan and Elizabeth Bennet, along with their teenage son Oliver, were excited to start anew in the heart of Essex. They were unaware of the sinister history that lingered in their new home. Almost immediately, strange occurrences began to disturb the Bennets. It started with unusual noises, whispers in the dead of night, footsteps echoing in empty halls, and doors creaking open on their own. Oliver, intrigued by the mysterious happenings, decided to explore the house further. One evening, while investigating the attic, Oliver discovered a hidden compartment in the floor. Inside, he found an old, tattered journal that belonged to Reginald Graves. The journal detailed the family's dark rituals and their obsession with black magic. Oliver, unable to resist the allure of the forbidden knowledge, began to read the journal. As the days went by, the disturbances grew more intense. Elizabeth began to see fleeting shadows in the corners of her vision, and Jonathan felt an oppressive presence looming over him. Oliver, now consumed by the secrets of the journal, stumbled upon an old, dusty mirror hidden in the attic. The mirror, ornate and covered in strange symbols, seemed to pulse with an eerie energy. As Oliver gazed into it, he saw the reflection of Reginald Graves standing behind him. The ghostly figure's eyes burned with a malevolent fire, and his voice echoed in Oliver's mind, whispering dark incantations. Terrified, Oliver tried to escape the attic, but the door slammed shut, trapping him inside. Reginald's spirit advanced, his presence suffocating and overwhelming. Oliver, paralyzed with fear, could only watch as the spirit's cold hand reached out to touch him. Downstairs, Jonathan and Elizabeth heard Oliver's screams and rushed to the attic. They found him cowering in the corner, the mirror now shattered on the floor. Reginald's spirit had vanished, but the atmosphere in the house remained thick with malevolence. Realizing the true horror of their home, the Bennets decided to leave immediately. As they drove away from the townhouse, they could see the dark silhouette of the house in the rearview mirror, its secrets now etched into their memories. The Graves family's dark legacy lived on, their spirits forever bound to the old townhouse. And the residents of Essex, having heard the Bennets' terrifying story, once again spoke in hushed tones about the house on King Street, haunted by the family that had delved too deeply into the dark arts.